Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct pleasure and privilege to ask you to join us for our second battle between the old Teutons. The Germanic tribes are going to war once more here on ULTI.TV, and I've got one-of-a-kind compatriot to join me for the affair. I am Lorcan Murray. I'm joined by Luke Burgess. How you feeling, Luke?
I'm feeling good. Happy to be back for another day of EUCF action. And this is a pretty spicy matchup to kick things off in the Open Division today.
And Wall City wasting absolutely no time. Huge shot all the way down the pitch. Taken in. Really well done. Great grab by Jakob Diekmann. Brilliant send by David Metzger. And the Berliners looking to pick up where Jinx dropped it off.
Nice. I like that. Wall City were looking fired up in their warm-up. Heard one of their players walk over to the team with 12 minutes until game time and said, "Hey guys, do we need a rave?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, let's go have a rave." And they did. In the corner just over there, out of, you couldn't hear it from the microphones because we don't like copyright music. But
I think they make their own techno music. I asked about it earlier. I was like, you guys can't play that. It's going to get copyright strike. And they're like, well, if we play the techno music we wrote. Like, I guess.
If they license it to ULTI.TV, we'll take it. We're here for it. We're here for
all the free music people are willing to give us. I swear, throughout today and in the run-up to this tournament, I've just kept being given more evidence that Berlin is probably the most fun city to play Ultimate in right now. The way they cheer each other on, both sides support each other. And then right over there, a rave before a game. I've had mosh pits before games before. Never a rave.
They're popping off. They're having a great time.
So Heidees, another very established club with a long, proud history, looking to fight their way into a semi-final. A lot of respect, a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge between these two teams. Wall City, of course, defending German champions as well. We've seen one German champion dethroned. Will we see it a second time? As here come Heidees, going to play their way through this game. Lind sends it into the middle of the pitch. That one's just a little bit floaty, but it's got an awful lot of legs underneath it to collect. And Heidees thinking maybe about a deep shot themselves, Thide. Instead goes to the center, back into the middle, Lind. A dainty little scoop across, and there's a big shot out of the hands of Jakob. Receiver in the end zone, Thide collects for the score.
That was so clean.
Meyer bottling.
Just as that throw went up, there was a gust of wind coming from behind us. The direction that the underside of the disc was being shown towards. Didn't matter. Disc went straight to the target. Clap catch in the back of the end zone, no problem. Both teams are here to play.
Both teams doing very similar plays as well, just kind of bouncing it along this sideline, a little bit back inside into a power position, and then a shot to the end zone from halfway down the pitch off the flick side. Very similar approaches to the sport. We'll see who can come out on top. Lots of spin by Martin Jakob.
Yeah, it's very impressive from both teams to show up on this Saturday morning.
Ready to go as well. I mean, you got to raise that intensity.
Oh, yeah.
Probably slightly easier if we're in the second slot. You know, the 10 past 10 start is a lot easier to get hyped for than the half 8.
Yeah, I was over watching a bit of the Clapham game earlier, and they were a bit salty to discover that there were other quarterfinal matchups on the round afterwards. But they get an early finish. They can't complain too much. They'll be done before.
I'm sure they'll find a way to complain
before 3 p.m.
So that one was a lovely bladey pull. I think it landed just about inbounds.
Yep, landed in, rolled out the back. So
they're going to take it all the way up to the front of the end zone in the form of David Metzger. Metzger front of that end zone. Lots of pressure, lots of intensity immediately. That's Christian Gaffney.
Pick.
Oh, so is it going to go back?
It's a very casual catch on the return pass.
Very casual team. The people who had a full-blown rave as part of their warm-up. Kai tries to get it into the middle. Gaffney's there. He's going to try and rescue it, but he can't. So an early mistake, short field, and immediately capitalized on. Fantastic shot from Bernica to Kitchen, or from Kitchen to Bernica. They're both wearing number 10. They were both involved in that play.
Fundamental mistake.
Kitchen to Bernica.
Fundamental mistake from Wall City. Just overthrowing the underpass a little bit. I think the receiver tripped up, but you can't be giving your opponents a short field like that. It's almost impossible to recover on defense if you turned over in that position. There were multiple players just already in the end zone. Good luck turning around and playing defense on both sides of them with 0 time to set up.
And Kitchen was on it. Quick as you can be. Jumping down there and then popping it in. So a break almost immediately as we have another look at that turnover. Gaffney didn't do himself any favors by thinking about the layout and then falling over. Couldn't get back into position. Bernica gets the score. All right, so maybe we're going to see, I mean, it's early days, yeah, but we might see 2 upsets. That'd be kind of nuts. The German champions both go out to German opponents in the quarterfinals.
Wait, didn't Heidees win German nationals?
No, Wall City did.
See, I thought that as well, and then someone told me otherwise. Don't know who to believe.
I was told by Wall City, so I'd actually probably believe you more.
I was told Wall City came 3rd and Heidees won, but...
You were thinking of qualifiers, regionals. That happened.
Ah, okay.
I know Wall City came 3rd at regionals, and I thought no, because I think Moon won that. Anyway, it's not important right now. Metzger gets that one. I don't think it was actually intended for him, but sure, look, he winds up with the disc. He won't complain about it. Gets it to Gaffney on the near sideline. Gaffney immediately turning around, trying to throw it around that zone. Doesn't want to waste too much time dealing with it. Dykeman back to Gaffney, gets it back off him. And then Metzger in the middle, and they spread out to the far sideline. This is fantastic zone offense by Wall City. I mean, I'm sure they've got a lot of experience playing against walls, or certainly playing around them, as Metzger goes with a big shot to the end zone. He's got a big man down there waiting for it. Vladislav Basov with the score.
Beautiful zone offense from the Berliners. Just kept the disc moving around the back. Found a little gap forwards. That was enough to get the Heidees zone to crumble into 1-to-1. And Wall City find the shot to the end zone. Beautiful stuff.
And the speed at which they did it, something we've seen in the previous game was there was a bit more time taken working it around the zone. That time, Wall City were like, no, we're just swinging. We're just swinging. We're not trying to attack through the middle. We might like throw a fake there, but it's just about swinging, swinging, and then getting a shot in.
Good throw as well. Wind is a bit blustery.
As the teams are coming back to get ready for another point. So great response by Wall City. They don't want to let that slide any more than it already had. But they have lost serve.
Yep, breakdown. So 2-all to Heidees at the moment.
The wind is picking up, so it'll be interesting to see what the defensive shapes that come out from both sides. We know they've got a lot of versatility. We know they like to mix it up and not let their opponents get comfortable. That is a phenomenal pull into the wind.
Or at least it would have been if it landed in bounds.
Oh yeah, no, that's. I thought that was arcing back in. It was very impressive, like distance-wise.
Yeah. Just throw it a bit more to the right.
That's a lot of breaks in this game for how fundamental it is as a part of defense.
Well, it seems to be a bit of a metagame at the moment to just go for huge 10 out of 10 pulls or bust to try and get that break. And to be fair, Wall City do need the break.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being 7 out of 10. That's a personal philosophy that I have, as Heidees trying to connect with Sontag, but couldn't make the connection quite as easily as they were hoping for. So now Wall City with an opportunity for a break.
Yeah, smart defense from Wall City, though.
I was too stupid to realize I have to break it down for us, provided they get this point. Kronecker with the disc. Does he think about the deep shot straight away? I mean, he certainly thought about it, but then he takes the inside. That was a zippy pass to Domke. Domke goes back to Kronecker. Kronecker doesn't want this straightaway reset. Instead goes with another break. He's got such lightning flicks. Kay shoots to the end zone himself. And I actually couldn't see that receiver in the far corner, so I thought it was an overshot, but they get the score.
Yep.
And they resume the lead, 3-2.
Yeah, there was just someone wide open on that side. And the thrower found the space. But there was some tight forehand breaks to open up that scoring possession.
Yeah, by Kronecker, just getting it back and then lasering it back in. Great expansiveness by Philip Kay as well to shoot it to the far sideline.
Yeah, not sure what happened on the defensive side to just let someone be free in the end zone like that, but Wall City kept the disc moving and found the option. So
what was it that stood out to you about the defense they played on Heidees?
For a start, the choice to play zone there was pretty sound choice. The wind's picking up a little bit. Match defense hasn't really been applying the pressure. So just throwing out his own look to see what it can do, change things up, is always worth doing at some point in the game. There's the old saying, don't lose a game without playing zone. I've lost many a game without playing zone, but
I've lost many a game playing zone, so you know,
you might still lose. It is what it is. But it's a good choice, and that's an amazing pull.
And it stayed inbounds, and Lind has it close to our near sideline in his own end zone, and the pressure, it's really hard. We can barely hear each other over the volume. Sontag reaches out a go-go gadget, extend arm, and grasps that one away from his defender. And now Heidees are off to the races, rushing down the pitch. Lind doesn't want to wait for it for any moment of time. Gets it to Lush, and across. They are just swinging it wildly, reckless abandon. Nistroj, Sontag holsters that one, doesn't want to shoot it straight to the end zone. And forgive me if I get 22 wrong. They got 2 10s, 2 22s, but that's just how this team likes to roll. Lux throws it across. And Lush once again, he's looking still, doesn't love the option. Huge bid, but doesn't get there in time. They're right on the end zone line now. Mutling gets it back to Sontag. Sontag can't get it quite around. Still waiting. This is probably the highest the stall count's got in all possession for Wall City. Lind gets it back and swings it across to Salazar. Salazar has Sontag. Sontag forced to run the entire gambit all the way around the pitch to find him on the other side. Now he's looking at an end zone with an awful lot of movement, not a lot of freedom, and eventually they get it to the score. I think that was Mayor Bottling.
That there was a pickling.
Oh, so Mayor Bottling doesn't get free there, and it's going to have to go back.
We go again. What a possession from Heidees, though.
Really impressive offense, the way they flow. They go from end zone to end zone. They were in trouble, and the wind was not helping. But you know what did? Just tireless running, holding onto the disc for about 2 seconds, but each throw came out smooth. It's the difference between expediency and rushing yourself. Mayer Bottling is putting in a shift, but it's all right in front of his handler, so like that's what the defense is going to want him to do, really. It's easier to mark. Sontag's now working with Lind. Sontag clears up the line, gets it back off Lind. He's right in the front corner, tries to squeeze it in. About 4 Wall City players all right there, eponymous as it is, and they find a gap in the middle instead. Beautifully done. Lind throwing it to either Palmieri or Nistroj. I'm going to go with Palmieri.
Why not? 50-50. Wow. What a possession that was. What a point that was. The pull to start it off, absolutely phenomenal. Lands in the back of the end zone, stays in bounds. This time Wall City come down just fiery match defense. Every single one of them sprinting their hearts out to get there and put the pressure on. As we see that little pop to the middle of the end zone. There was some switching and surrounding of the stack in the end zone, and always in those positions, the most vulnerable place is the front middle of the end zone.
I thought that the Heidees were maybe getting a bit too in love with the front corner of the end zone, and Wall City recognized it, brought down 4 players to try and shut down the cuts. But then you look for a second and go, actually, there's only like 1 person cutting there right now. Swing across, Lind is right. And Lind, I think, touched the disc about 6 times. I think held the disc for a total 5 seconds. Just constantly firing it off really quickly. Heidees will not go gracefully into that good night, or gently into that good night, I should say. Because they are fighting hard.
So good before that
it was so impressive.
And the patience outside the end zone. They tried to jam it in a few times, but recognized that the option wasn't there, swung it, and then someone's just free on the front middle of the end zone, as so often happens. Ooh, was that touched?
I don't think it was, and I think Aaron Wolf is certainly gonna make that his argument. I didn't see enough to claim it wasn't.
It wasn't clear. I can believe there was no touch.
So Metzger is once again going to pick up that disc and walk it to the front of the sideline. Or sideline, sorry, front of the end zone.
Yeah.
There's no front on a sideline. And just a quick pepper mill downfield from the cutters, but not quite able to get free as easily as they hoped. Wolf gets it back across to Gaffney. Gaffney waiting, gets it to Wolf eventually, so a bit of force dominator perhaps. Finally able to get it to somebody who didn't start off as a handler on this possession. So Philip Kay
foul on the throw after the pretty aggressive wind-up.
Kay down the line into the hands of Dijkman. Dijkman. Searching, he has Kay to one side, can't get him. Wolf on the other, he gets it to Kay on the second asking. Has some close quarters cutting. And an aggressive force, I think, by Kitchen, and it works out. He's able to force the turnover, lots of pressure, just the right amount of contact.
Had the Heidees sideline screaming in his face as well.
Both teams have got large contingents of supporters, teammates and sister clubs, as well as an understandable timeout is called by Yannick Marburg. We're going to take a quick break ourselves to try and catch our breath.
Yep.
Whew, we'll be back after these short messages.
Right now, he's gonna have to bid. Just a
Football! Huge layout block, unbelievable stuff on the front corner of the end zone.
Maybe just that boost of energy they needed. Huge swing pass and a great grab there from Spear.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Nova Scotia Electric, become a member.
Don't want to miss anything?
There are loads of tournaments happening, which you can attend either as a player or a spectator. You can.
Marburg has it. Goes to the immediate dump. Heidees looking to punch in a break. Kitchen tries to spread it out. Gets it across the pitch. There are calls all over for the throw. Handler's held onto it for quite a while. Eventually gets it down the line. Searching. There's lots of pressure. Wolf is doing everything he can to get in the way, and that's a beautiful inside break. How did that come off? There's going to be calls for a stall out somehow. Nistroy, I'll say Nistroy this time.
How did he find that gap? That was ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't even think Nistroy expected to get it. It was one of those, like, it hit him, and he was like, that's lodged in my hip.
He looked surprised that it was in his hands.
Well, we certainly were surprised he was able to get it. Instead, they spread it around. That is a beautiful space-creating break swing. As now they're desperately searching. Huge bid from Wolf, but he can't get there in time. And Heidees, they've shown amazing patience and versatility outside the end zone. Now they just go for the float over the top.
Oh, close.
I mean, it shouldn't have worked, and it didn't, but it almost did, and that was pretty impressive.
I love that they did that just as you said the word patience. That was great.
That's my influence.
You love to see it. So close.
Tough one. So here come Wall City in the other direction. Aaron Wolf gets it back to Metzger. Metzger gets it down the line to Kay. Kay thinks about the deep shot instead, just sends a searing pass across to Agda. Now it's back to Kay in the middle of the pitch. They don't mind giving up yards as long as they can keep the disc moving. Metzger finds Dijkman. Dijkman back across. That's Gaffney over the top to Kay. Kay, oh, there's an awful lot of float on that. The wind's really starting to be felt, and it just goes out of bounds.
It's a simple throw and error. The conditions are
blustery, as there's the big arcing pass over the top. And they are asking an awful lot of their receiver, and twice now it's not quite coming off. Heidees hungry for this break.
Unforgiving is the word I was looking for.
So every game has won a point with an awful lot of turnovers. So once again, Metzger,
timeout.
Under immense pressure, calls a timeout himself.
The jump TO as well. Jumped onto the line and called a timeout.
Nice and stylish.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break ourselves. So still in the early exchanges of this game, but a very tight and intense affair. Where else would you want to go? Where else would you want to be? But here with us for free on YouTube, ULTI.TV.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Shout out to Flik Ulti, long-time patron of ULTI.TV. Done a lot of great work over the years, supporting the coaching of Ultimate in the UK.
Metzger, disc in hand, gets a break around and onto the sideline, and once again they are off to the races. Back to Metzger before I can even finish that sentence, and he goes for another break, rescued off the ground by Gaffney. He's getting low, he doesn't mind throwing himself around. Metzger spreads it out to the opposite sideline while taken in by Agda. Agda gets it down the line to Diekman. Diekman looks back to Metzger. Metzger is the linchpin for this offense right now, rotating it around the disc. Gets it to Gaffney on the far sideline. Those swings are always there. You can understand Yannick Marburg trying to steal into that open lane, but Metzger's going to punish him if he keeps doing it. There is a pick called, so don't know if Greenwald's going to get to hold on to that disc or not. Nope, he has to send it back.
Really enjoying this All City offense right now. They're just keeping the disc moving as much as they can.
And that wind is really blowing in Metzger's face. It's becoming something of an upwind, downwind game. Even though these are some very skilled teams, you should be able to play through it. Metzger, lots of spin on that one. Diekman gets it down the line. Huge bid on the opposite side. Fantastic heads-up block. That one's going to be Lucas Dippel. A substantial defensive move. Now it's picked up by Marburg. He doesn't send it down the line straight away, despite what we would have liked. There's Michael Brenner. Disc in hand, Brenner. Smooths it down the pitch to Stulert. Stulert. That's an over-the-top arcing pass. A surprising shot to go for, but it worked out. Neil Stroy gets it back to Stulert. Neil Stroy sends that one down Kitchen, and he looks to shoot to the front corner for the break, and they do. I think that's a double happiness for Lucas Dippel as well.
Wow, what a point that was. Both teams just going toe-to-toe, multiple timeouts, multiple turnovers. But on that last possession, as much as I was crediting Wall City's offense with their willingness to just keep that disc moving, rather than, by that, I mean, when they were coming under and catching the disc, a lot of the time they weren't turning and looking downfield for a deep shot straight away. They'd look straight back in field, look to get the disc swung, and just keep it moving. But what undid them was the smart defense from Heidees. As we see this layout block. What happened here was the undercut was already in that space. So there was a defender there whilst the other handler had cut up the line. And that was a slightly strange choice because that particular player had been completely forgotten their name. Lucas never got the D, right? But the Wall City handler had been just Metzger had been hanging out in the middle of the pitch, just dropping back every time, and the defender had been poaching off to try and interfere on the open side in the throwing lanes. But that time Metzger goes up the line when there's already someone coming under in that space, and the throws into traffic and it's a block. So if Metzger had just been chilling behind the disc like he had been the entire point, that would not have been a turnover. So odd timing on the upline cut, smart defense from Heidees. And that disc stayed in bounds.
It rolled down the feet and was clicked by Gaffney. He immediately sent it to Metzger. As now you see Heidees going with a bit of an arrowhead. It's definitely a zone. Not too much pressure, so those lateral passes will stay available to them. Wolf with the disc on the far sideline, gets to Metzger back in the middle. Do you think this zone is kind of Heidees' way of saying, look, we know what you're trying to do against match defense. We're going to set up a zone that's built around you doing that? Oh, that's a brilliant bit of vision. All the way down the pitch and collected. So Wall City get it back to Metzger. The hat flies off. The disc stays in his hands. You got to have your priorities, people. Greenwald sends it down the line. You can hear the wind howling along with the sidelines full of Germans. Greenwald gets the disc back in his possession from Eike. He sends it across to Gaffney. Gaffney shoots to the end zone, and Eike was just about everywhere on that point. Great response.
Fantastic response. To answer your question about the zone, I think they're just trying to mix things up. They probably realized that they got maybe a bit lucky on that last block. Ultimately, it was a Wall City offensive mistake. They crossed over in the open lane. The throw was into traffic. They got a block. They weren't really putting a huge amount of pressure on before that point, which I think was a deliberate choice. They weren't trying to, tightly mark every single swing pass, even though they could see that that's what Wall City were going for. And now they're just saying, okay, well now we'll do a zone. We'll let you throw those swing passes, and see what happens. Mix things up. They're up a break. They can be a little bit more experimental with defense, and Wall City responded nicely.
I do think a downwind zone, so when you put on a zone on a team playing downwind, is a interesting idea to go for. That's Greenwald. No hesitation. So you might have noticed, and if you didn't notice, I'm going to point out to you. So Leo Eichler is the person who threw it to Greenwald, and then he's the person who immediately threw it to Gaffney, who immediately threw it to Eichler on the opposite side of the pitch, about 20 meters down. So tireless running, excellent stuff by the downfield cutter and helping relieve some of that pressure. I feel like you're being very cool to Dipple, to be honest with you. Like it was, I get what you mean.
It was a great block.
It was it takes a lot of intelligence to recognize that opportunity.
Yeah, he had his eyes on the disc. Like, it's good. It's good defense, but Wall City also shouldn't have double cut into the same space.
Shouldn't have given him the opportunity. I understand. Sontag, you've got a high standard, and it's a high standard, a hive standard, some might say. As now Heidees look to respond. They have stolen serve off of Wall City. Both teams have a break. Heidees have 2 to their name. Sontag, we know he's got big shots, but he doesn't want to take them right now, even with the wind at his back. I suppose they got to measure them a lot tighter. They're working a lot of unders here. Might be somewhat surprising to people less familiar with the team. Across Sontag on the far sideline. And there's the difficulty. You rush a throw, and that wind's just going to carry it over your receiver. So now Wall City get the opportunity to break back and retake serve.
Good call. Yeah, it's just a throwing error. I said earlier, the wind is unforgiving. You can't be lazy with your throws.
And sometimes people rush themselves when they're trying to move the disc quickly. You've just got to plant it. And if the opportunity isn't there by the time you steadied yourself, well, look, it's not a turnover if it's still in your hands, right?
Yep. Especially if there's no stall count.
In the interest of excitement, though, I love this Heidees offense when they're flowing it down the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
A little unusual, perhaps. They're more comfortable going into the wind.
I think both teams have played both directions very comfortably.
Kronecker just launching that one. It's curving always in the right direction. Fantastic vision. And there's a brilliant shot across. Huge sprint all the way down the pitch. Brilliantly taken in. Lovely throw from Mastrudek. Great stuff by Wall City to get the break.
Yeah, that's a break. And we are back on serve. Wall City working hard on defense at that point. Just standard 1-to-1. Try and stop the unders, try and stop the deeps with your legs. And they get the job done. They applied enough pressure to come down with, I think that was the first throw that was a little bit wayward.
So there's the huge shot by Kronecker.
Great throw.
All the way across. And then no hesitation in the setup shot to the end zone either.
Nicely done.
So that's Matt Struszek.
So I don't mind downwind zones, by the way. I think downwind zones are absolutely fine. They can be quite good at stopping big deep shots because you can choose to play a zone with 2 players in that deep space. Force them to just throw the disc around in the short field a bit more.
Hold bodies with shoe.
Big pull.
So that score was scored by Phil Johnson. Metzger just going over here to help me understand. We just need to correct a couple of things on our rosters, but huge shout out to him, ex-Clapham player and the team dad apparently. Well, he certainly made his defender look like a son there, as Sontag has the disc on the near sideline. Working with Lind, gets it down the line to him. Lind, that was steps into the backhand, allows the disc to go past him, perhaps forces that a bit too much. And that turnover batted down. I'm sure you've got some feelings about people taking on that kind of a throw.
I mean, he holstered the backhand because the force was there and then threw it anyway, which is almost always a turnover.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, you'll have to see it.
Kronecker gets it down the line to Herkins. Herkins wants to send it, doesn't quite. He's got Kronecker behind him. He's got lots of people in front of him. Eventually, oh, that was a very difficult grab to go for. Ben Joseph was trying to lay himself out. So Heidees get away with one. They don't want to keep conceding. This is not the direction they want that to go in.
Oh dear.
They collected, no, it floated. I can hear the tutting quietly in the background, but no, it worked out. Heads up defensive play as Heidees continue to move it around. Their difficulties finding white jerseys. They're going to dirty them in this game as Lind has the disc. Waiting an awful long time.
Pick in the stack, mate.
Somewhat rescued by that pick in the stack. I mean, that stall count was getting high.
Yeah, the thrower has an opportunity to look around the field, see what's up.
Where am I going to lash this desperately once play resumes?
End zone, this side. Knife. Big bladey forehand to this near side. That's
Okay, I like that call. I like that call. Expose the underside a little bit to the wind. No, he goes for the quick pop through and it works out. It probably shouldn't have.
That's far too intelligent.
We don't care for that. What are you doing? Too intelligent.
There were 2 players slightly poached on this near side. You should have just banged it to them, obviously.
Yeah, why aren't you like going for big ambitious throws? Why are you squeaking it through those
They
small
were
gaps
earlier,
to Gerardo?
like-
Maybe they're doing both.
Yeah.
Got a fun game ahead of us.
They got away with a slightly wayward forehand into the wind like that. A few throws earlier, in fact.
Yeah, so and if you get away with one slightly wayward forehand, why don't you throw
Why not go for more?
several more? Slightly wayward forehands into the wind are basically the only kind I throw. I also throw incredibly wayward forehands into the wind.
Yeah.
As we're going to have another quick look at this pop.
Yeah, that's far too smart. Far too intelligent.
So we have down for that Alberto Girato and I believe Jonathan Meyer-Bothling with the score, Girato with the assist. You'll have to forgive us though, I think Heidees had a bit of difficulty getting white jerseys for their entire team, so there's a lot of names mixed up, a couple of duplicate numbers as well. So yeah, we do apologize to the Heidees fans back home for getting a couple of the names wrong. These are some great pulls. Volt didn't even want that.
Yeah, that's what I'm laughing at. This is just like stood there, watched the disc bounce like a meter in front of his feet, and then just turned and walked away.
He's probably seen that come down and goes,
yeah, that's going out. I'm just going to leave it.
You know who wants that? Metzger wants that in front of the end zone. For the 3rd time in this game, he's got to walk.
That's not for me.
Nah.
That's not for me.
Just going to put yourself in a worse position. See, and there you go, he gets it. Oh, no, sorry, that's not him, that's Gaffney. Now he gets it off Gaffney.
thought that was very low, but it's actually fine.
You got to get a little bit low in these conditions, but it's risky business. Look at that quick fire play. Kay on the near sideline. He uncorks one and rips it deep. Huge defensive block. Incredible stuff.
Oh, we're going to get a foul call. I think this is on the second effort. We'll check the replay. But it looks like the initial block looked pretty clean.
Okay, so we're going to have another look. Talk about throwing the kitchen sink at something.
Yeah, it looks like the foul is on the second effort. So the initial block looked pretty clean. But then they tripped up on the second effort. The foul will be retracted.
That's very fair-minded.
I mean, there's no way that you manage to avoid contact having gone for that bid, and then they try and climb over you again. So.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. Especially if they try and change direction and into that, they get fouled as kitchen with the disc. It's understandable. And that one's going to float over the top. Unfortunately, you've really got to focus to make sure those throws come off. That's the second time we've seen Heidees overthrow a receiver directly in front of us.
I mean, it looked catchable for Dipple, but I just don't think he ever had enough time to set his feet and get that vertical height.
So Metzger. The headband over the hood is a new look. Fringe still exposed. Big fan.
Yeah, it's good.
Sheer setting some nice fashion standards. Darkman on the far sideline. Gets it back, middle of the pitch. Sends it inside. That's a very impressive grab. Agda, and he immediately gives it back to Dijkman. And Wall City just flow all the way down the pitch. Wolf with it. Gaffney makes a move down the line. Metzger comes back for him. Both are well defended. That stall count's getting high. He's going to have to force something. And he does to Kai. Or Kay even. Wow.
Found the gap.
These teams can do that. There's been a few times in this game where you're like, that stall count's high. There's going to be pressure. And then just somehow they get a break. Both teams.
Wall City in particular seems to just have this innate ability to jam IO forehands into spaces that you didn't think were available. And they seem to catch them basically every time. So, impressive work.
That's the other side of it. Those discs are not easy to catch. Talk about being hard to like fit it into the gap. It's going to come at you so quickly.
Well, it has to.
Yeah, and you're probably going to be moving. Like, Philip Kay made that look very easy when it very much wasn't.
Yeah, that would have hit his hands hard. Should get another look. Nothing in the open space. Bang.
Wasn't even a clap catch. It was
no.
Two hands up in front of him. Aggressive, undercutting excellence.
I think that was correct catching technique, though. Going for the clap catch was a bit tricky. It was about head height, coming at you fast. You don't have any body behind it, so if you mistime the clutch, it's just gone through your hands. But you can get your palms behind the disc at least, and if you go with two hands, it's fairly safe.
Two hands and an open mouth. Anything you can do.
Well, you know, when someone drops a clap catch and you shout three hands at them, I guess, is that what we mean?
As you can hear the screams, the cheers, and Wall City tear down. You can tell from the wind, like these discs are all just hitting just about inbounds and rolling out, trying to put.
It's a really consistent, high-quality pull technique, though. It's pretty easy to hit the end zone with a roll curve like that when it's wind like this.
It's not easy to complete that pass, but they do so. Girotto. Heidees continue to flow down the pitch. This is when they're at their best. Lind's trying to find Sontag. Sontag clears out to make that space in front. And here comes the upcut. Nicely done. So Nistroy gets it down. Salazar. Searching, doesn't want that shot over the top. Into the wind, that's going to be a tough one. Nistroy goes deep for him. He tries to find him. He does. Does that count? That's a goal.
Looks like it. That was a really smart, well-timed upline cut. And the throw to match. Again, into the wind. Curving into the receiver in the harder direction to throw, because the wind, if the wind gets under that, it pops up, and suddenly it's anyone's disc. It's going over the stack. Maybe it's going to the next pitch. Who knows? But perfectly executed throw.
I feel like lots of people can put spin on a disc, but not a lot of people can differentiate between this is going to be lasered at you, and this is going to be the kind of lots of spin it's going to float loads. And that's something we've seen both sides of, from both these sides so far in this game, and it really is a testament to their skills as throwers.
Oh yeah. being able to vary the speed at which the disc moves towards the target. Extremely important.
So we see Salazar. Says no initially, which is understandable. It's going to be a difficult cut. That's not an easy throw.
Yeah,
Easy throw.
That's tough.
Big grab.
It's hard to see just how difficult that is without feeling the wind that was blowing at the time.
It's so blustery as well, so it's not like you can just become accustomed to it. And I understand sometimes handlers wait for the wind to die down before going for certain throws, but front of the end zone, the timing of that cut needs to be perfect. So you just have to go for it when it becomes available.
But watching that throw from that angle, the whole time I thought the wind was going to take it. Obviously I knew what happened. It was a replay. I saw it in real time. I still thought as the disc comes out of his hands that it's going to pop up. It doesn't.
So a tight battle. And like you said earlier on, you were saying like you expect both these teams to be able to play really well. I mean, they've been trading upwind points now for a while. Wolf back to Metzger. Metzger has K on one side, goes back to Wolf on the other side. Still searching his Heidees zone once again applied. Gaffney thinks about the overhead, doesn't go for it. Does now, there we go. Tasty scuba. Dykman back into the middle to Basov. And there's a huge shot all the way down the pitch. 2 players underneath it. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a foul call.
Yeah. A lot of contact on the back.
That's in between Greenwald and Kitchen.
Let's get another look. So there's an arm on the shoulder. And there's the jump.
So just a bit of discussion. We had a couple of players come over to check it out. I don't speak German, but that seems like he watched what I watched and then went, that's not a foul, which I would disagree with. But it has to be decided by the people on the pitch, and they can turn to us if they want, as if they were turning to anybody else on the sideline. So it's always better to see it resolved on the pitch. Kitchen and Greenwald having a discussion. I do feel like he kind of incapacitated him slightly with that hand on the shoulder.
Yeah, for me it's the hand on the shoulder that's the key discussion point. Now whether or not the players feel like that contact affected the play or not is up for them to discuss. But
well, one of them does. That looked like contested to me. The two, when you fist bump yourself, that's a foul. I'm a big fan of that foul symbol. That and like sketchy pass, otherwise known as turnover, where you just...
Wilkin did do the hand signal in front of me.
So
listening at home.
It's an audio medium. I forgot about that. Diekman immediately goes with the under instead. I spread out Greenwald. Oh, a flying form of Kitchen. He's already got one massive layout. He almost took an ankle with him on that one. So Greenwald's going to have it. Middle of the pitch. At least fakes the flick break. Gaffney still looking, eventually gets it down the line, just about. Basov. Heidees putting a lot of pressure. Metzger has it now, and they're trying to trap them on this far sideline. Metzger, very good flick break, so he's going to be very comfortable in that situation. The Wolf back to Metzger. Metzger thinks about the continuation, takes on the second ask. That one came out fluttery, but Wolf was equal to it. They're going to immediately called inbounds and agrees, and then he just hits Metzger for the score in the end zone. I think, yeah, that might have to go back because a couple of Heidees players had stopped to discuss whether or not he was inbounds. So it's going back to Wolf. Oh, Metzger juking, jiving, and there's a big time block by Kitchen. He read the play perfectly. Knocking it down. It's 6-6. It's all tied up. We are 44 minutes in, so there's another slight overthrow and a bit of a foul afterwards, but he accepts, like, yeah, that was never really going to be within the realm of my catchability.
Didn't affect the play at all.
So Metzger picks it up. Wolf City with a good opportunity here. Brilliant move by Wolf. Tough throw, lots of flow. He gets up huge to take it down under immense pressure and gets it to K for the score.
Wow. Wolf City, they get it done eventually. It took a few tries. Both teams had chances, but Wolf City come out on top. And it's a hold for them. But Yeah, Heidees are going to be kicking themselves after that. They had so many opportunities, both actual blocks and close blocks. That dump cut was so smart. Just sent the defender flying the other direction, and then the catch was harder than I think they would have liked, but...
Well, that's the problem. If you're going to do that kind of juke jive cut from the handler position and then go up the line into this wind, like that's a tough break to get off.
The reason it went that high was because it's an upwind throw. And I think, again, it's a deceptively tricky wind to throw in because it looks like that's just a short, flat backhand, no problem, wide open receiver. But you have to put quite a lot on it, otherwise it's going to float up like that. And big play from the receivers come down with it.
So Wall City get the hold in the end. There's a lot of turnovers, there's a lot of action in this game, and there's a lot more still to come. So we're going to take a quick break for some messages, but we will be back shortly, and we hope to see you there.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI.TV, ULTI.net.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this scintillating, tantalizing, Teutonic matchup between Heidees and Wall City. It has been a great game so far, a tight affair, turnovers and breaks on both sides of the pitch as these two clashes come together. We watched earlier on today Jinx in the quarterfinal, the other Berlin side going up against the Seagulls from Hamburg, and in that the reigning champions Jinx wound up losing, surprisingly. Well, maybe not surprisingly, it was a very close affair on Universe Point, actually.
Right?
I would have said they were favourites. Yeah, I would have had them as favourites.
Most of us did.
And most of us were wrong. Something that I'm quite familiar with, but perhaps not some of you at home, as now Heidees have proved equal to almost every measure so far, even stealing a lead at 1 point. The game is currently on serve. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying with us. If you've been with us all day so far, and trust me, there's plenty of reason to stay with us for the rest of today as well. As we see Sontag get the disc and walk up to the front of the end zone. That's become a common feature as a lot of pulls in that direction. They're just rolling them out of the back of the end zone. It's been like the last 6-7 pulls at least. Sontag just about able to get that one off. Nistroy sends it down and directly into the waiting hands of Wolf. Wolf and Diekman both coming over onto the D-line now. Regular features on the O-line. So is Philip K. You think we can see a strategic shortening of lines. Diekman makes a great deep cut, decides against it. They go with the break instead to K right in front. That's down the line comfortably into the hands of Eichler. Eichler has been a very impressive cutter so far in this game. Back into Wolf. Wolf back across, and Wall City wasting no time. These are just quick swings, and K is, or sorry, not K, that is my mistake. That is Vladislav Basov. Gets the crucial score to take half for Wall City with a big-time break.
Yeah, crucial break for Wall City. We had Metzger on the sideline put his hands up and shout, "Game plan, baby," when they got that block. Interesting game plan to just hope that the other team throws it away.
Decides to huck it into your stack.
Yeah, it was the cut was just way too deep when it started. That throw was too difficult. Yeah, like the receiver was like miles away by the time the throw went up, and that's an upwind throw, so it would have been ridiculous to come down with it. And,
you could see Milan trying to. No, Milan was trying to push them out of the way. He just about pulled it off.
Just in time.
Quick fire catch and release.
That's some clutch sidelining from Milan to get us that replay.
Made sure we got it on the second time. Vladislav Basov with the score. A crucial one to go up 8-6 in this quarterfinal. So as the two teams take a break shortly after the timeout as well, we're going to take a break ourselves. We'll be back in about 2 minutes after these short messages.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
We are a group of Ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back, everybody at home all over the world, joining us here at EUCF quarterfinals, the business end of the tournament, and we've got two teams who are here to exchange blows. Kronacher with a huge pull. That one's looking a bit more floaty than previous ones, perhaps not going for the roll. That's the first pull we've had in a while that didn't roll out the back of the end zone. Santag collects, immediately gets it over to Lind on the far side. Lind sends it down the line, lots of space. Doesn't want the deep shot though. Decides to holster it for now. Oh, and that was a risky one up into the air. And Lind goes with an arcing blade, caught it by the wind and caught on the other side by Meyer Bothling. Fantastic grab and a great response.
Yeah, what a throw that was. Not entirely sure the intended receiver came down with it, but the offense was aware. They knew it was coming. They get up, they make the grab. And a crucial hold for Heidees to start off this second half.
And a rather smooth one as well. They worked it down the pitch with aplomb. Really nicely done.
Yeah, I think he wanted that lower and flatter.
I think he wanted to score, so he'll take however it comes. But yeah, I don't imagine Meyer Bothling was his intended receiver. Still 8-7, keeping it close. You give up a break to let Wall City take half. You've got to come out firing in the start of the second one, and it was loud. I'm sure you can pick it up from behind us. Both these teams screaming. They are hungry.
Yeah, confident start. All right, Rolly pulling up.
Heidees have gone for it more than Wall City have.
So, yeah.
Metzger spent a lot of time walking out the back of that end zone to pick up a disc and walking to the front of the end zone. I think I have to believe there's going to be another roller. The way Wolf is just like, yeah, okay. I'm going to catch this if I can. No.
It's such a consistent pulling strat. And yeah, I mean, it's not like a 10 out of 10 pull, but it's definitely 7 out of 7.
I consider that a 9 out of 10. You can trap him on the sideline right in that corner. Gets it to Wolf in the middle. He's deep in his own end zone. They have to spread it around and across to Gaffney. And there's a jumping in the lane and a brilliant steal by Lush. Lush gets it back, and now Heidees have an opportunity to tie this game right back up. Nistelrooy is down the line. He collects it right in front of the end zone. There's the cut to the front corner. They decide against it. They're not going to rush anything right now. They recognize the opportunity they have. Just about able to get it back. There's a touch, but it's not quite enough. Tantalizing as it is. Kitchen with the disc. Searching. Nothing coming immediately available. Huge grab. Rescues it from the clutches of gravity. Saves possession. They still have a chance at this break. There's the leading pass to absolutely nobody.
Wow, Wall City make the defensive stand. Impressive work.
After so much conservation, that's an unfortunate miscommunication.
Oh, brutal.
So Wall City get another bite at the apple. Another twist of the cherry. And they're moving it quickly down the pitch. Against this zone from Heidees. These different defensive looks. I know you're a big fan of that, Luke. That's a beautiful break across to Metzger in the middle of the pitch. The flow is fantastic now. Basov gets it across to Dijkman. Dijkman back to Metzger. Metzger back to Dijkman. Dijkman looking for Metzger again, and he moves immediately to clear that open space. Metzger has those inside flicks. They are incisive. He's like a surgeon out there on the pitch. Wolf gets the catch, immediately feeds Metzger, and they're moving so quickly with the disc. Once their tails are up, they're difficult to catch. Metzger right in front of the end zone. Searching. Nothing immediately available. Goes for the big floaty pass back over to Wolf. Wolf looking around. There's the cut up the line. He goes with an inside break to Metzger, and like we say, they are not easy discs to catch.
That is a brutal drop. Just a little bit less ping on the disc, and it's substantially easier to catch.
Malberg goes, picks it up, and calls a timeout. How do you feel about that timeout call?
It's an odd one. I think I was not expecting a timeout there. I thought they had potential to just keep going.
So a peculiar decision, but it's one we'll mull over as we are going to take a quick break ourselves, and we will return to you on the other side in about a minute. Where else would you want to go? The action is all here on ULTI.TV, YouTube, for free.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Can you hear it? Can you feel it from the pitches of Caorle into your living rooms, into your offices, into your wherever you happen to be watching from? We are so glad you've joined us here today, and we have got plenty of reasons for you to stay with us. I'm Lorca Murray. I'm joined by the one, the only Luke Burgess. Luke, how do you feel this one's going to go?
Oh, this is a crucial moment in the game. Wall City still up a break out of half. However, after this timeout, Heidees have the opportunity to bring it back on serve.
I love this setup as well, a 2-5 straight out of a timeout. You got to believe a set play is coming. Dijkman is at the back of the stack, trying to force them back under. He's currently marking Lush. Wouldn't be surprised to see Lush try to pull him out of that space. Malberg with the disc. One to the deep shot. Yeah, Dijkman just staying back there. That's exactly where he wants to be. Gets it down the line to Kitchen. Kitchen. That's a beautiful shot, and it's well taken in by Stulert. And he shoots it all the way down, and it's collected on the other end by that number 10, Henry Berneke.
Heidees get the break. Wow. So, that throw, incredibly difficult. The defender was right there, and yet they managed to get the disc around into the end zone for a relatively easy clap catch off of the well-timed cut, the well-timed throw. And Heidees, it looked as if they were going to face just a strict one-to-one defense.
That's a huge grab from earlier in the point. Unfortunately, they weren't able to actually cash in that possession. This time, once again, that's Kitchen getting the disc. Sends it down the line, and a brilliant cut by Berneke. And you could see number 83, that's Jakob Dijkman. He was set up.
Dijkman was off the back of the stack the entire time. So they set up as in just straight one-to-one defense. The moment Heidees moved, they were switching. So it's almost as if they didn't show any kind of surrounding setup out of the timeout, so I was a bit worried for them. I thought they were just going to get roasted off of a set play. And they just immediately switch. Dykeman's there deep the whole time, but Heidees get through it anyway.
Really well done. Lush was originally the deep cutter, and he did step back a little bit and come right back under, and that's where you see the deep shots coming from really close to the handlers. They're so difficult to track, even if you are the deep defender and you're trying to patrol an area rather than mark a specific person. Gaffney on the near sideline. Heidees once again out in the zone. 2 points on the trot to open up the second half, and they tie it back up at 8. An impressive performance by the team from Epilhem. Gaffney almost casually walking into that disc, and you want to talk about casual. There's the push pass. Metzger throws it into the middle, and the waiting hands of Philip K. Philip K is being very impressive. Greenwald flows that one over the top. They're still alive. There's a big jump. It's Bo. Oh. And that's about Kitchen's 4th block maybe in this game.
Yeah, crucial block.
And we've seen Heidees be able to run this one into the wind, as the wind is doing plenty of damage to our tent. You can only imagine the impact it's having on these offenses. So Kitchen has the disc, immediately wants the reset, is able to get it off in and around just about. That's Michael Brenner who has experience playing with Pony. Oh, and that one, no call. That's just a brilliant hand block. I think it was Greenwald in the end who got it.
The defense from Wall City's O-line is so impressive.
They know how to stop people moving. Metzger picks it up on the far side, and Wolf immediately cuts to the front corner and gets the score, 9-8.
Yeah, far too easy for Wall City there. But they did give themselves phenomenal field position to work with after that defensive stand. So getting a look at this block. Crucial block. Unfortunately, the break chance was wasted. So we're still on serve here, despite...
Technically, yeah, I suppose. Good point.
Everything that's happened. Wall City up 9-8. They did start the game on offense.
Hey guys, however many coffees plus one.
So they worked that one out. Like you said, too easy though on that point after all that hard work that Heidees put in, and they've got all these different defensive looks. Your first defensive look is don't get beaten up the line.
Well, they did so well to get the block, and then yeah, just immediately gave it away.
Sontag with the disc. That was a nice rolling pull by Kronacher into the wind. There's the quick movement again. Sontag can't get the second part of it together. There's lots of pressure. He's just forced to go deep all the way down there. Eichler's in the area. Great heads-up play to stop that completion. They were looking for Bellalouche. Couldn't find him.
Yeah, I thought Eichler was going to get beat there. He was miles away. But throw just came up a bit short.
I'm a big fan of Eichler, but on that time, like, maybe a little fortunate, maybe just genius. Maybe he's out here playing 5D chess. He got the block. That's what matters. So now Wall City with a chance to extend their lead again. They've done it before, but they've got to go up into the wind. That's brilliantly done into the path of K. K gets it back long. Eichler, there's that man again. He was always making himself available downfield for his handlers. And a nice swing all the way across and a quick pop. This is really quick play. Rickards, he's held it for a while now. He's going to have to go for a dangerous inside break, and that's brilliantly sniffed out and snuffed out.
Read the play like a book on that one.
I believe that was Simone Shear who got the D. Wearing number 50, Sontag. He made one another deep shot. He's going for it. Can Eichler get the second D? Oh, that was sensational bid by Jonathan Meyer-Bottling. He's got a few points to him so far in this game. Might have been adding another. Never easy to catch.
I feel like he almost touched that. It looked so high.
That looked like about the height of something on a table on the first floor of the building. So Kronecker calling for calm. Everybody relax. I'm going to go get the disc, and we're going to go work it up the pitch. Looks like a pretty standard 4-3 to me, Luke. In your incisive eyes, spy anything?
It is that.
Oh, look at me knowing stuff.
It's like you played the sport before.
Shh. Don't tell anyone, Kronecker. Oh, does he want the deep shot straight away? It's certainly tempting. He's got Herkens down there. Instead, he maybe he was going for the deep shot.
Yeah, also, he looked a bit stagnant there. There was some poaching off of the stack from Heidees. They were definitely like baiting that deep shot that was far too difficult. So that was a good decision to holster, but then the arching forehand to that far side is asking for the wind to push it out of bounds.
You really don't want to be exposing the underside. And that's why Sontag keeps going for those flick hucks downfield. He doesn't want to expose the underside of the disc to the wind. Well, that's a lot of hard running. He's eventually able to get it. Herkens is putting him under immense pressure. Continues to do so, throws him to the ground. He needs someone to pop. Linda Piers tries to shoot it really quickly. That was Nistroy, I think, going for a quick jump in. Can't get there in time. Simone Shear tries to make himself available. That's an arc pass over the top. Sontag takes it down for the score. 9-9.
Nicely done from Heidees. Wall City once again committing lots and lots of defenders to stopping that open side front corner space. And Heidees just go over the top. Footwork not quite fancy enough to secure the score. And then we see 4 Wall City defenders all marking that front corner and just 1 in the rest of the end zone. Heidees come down with it.
That's a difficult throw to make. I mean, you can understand that you want to condense and try and pressurize that front corner. It will leave the opportunities for you to send it over everybody, but that's never going to be easy to do in these conditions.
No, Heidees have the numbers advantage on that side. You're really hoping for a spectacular defensive effort.
Can you guys hear that? Can you guys feel that intensity? It might not be the most inventive of chants, but my God, does it get the blood going.
Just reminding each other what the name of the team is, because I think some of them do forget sometimes.
Well, the way they throw their bodies about, I wouldn't be surprised there's a couple of concussions. Who do we play for again? Are we Heidees?
To be fair,
no, we're Wall City. Who?
The text is a little difficult to read. It is vertical down the middle of their jerseys, and the font is a bit funky. So,
one of the most in-demand jerseys at Worlds, and they weren't parting with them, but they are willing to trade them now.
Yeah, you got to come over to Europe to get your hands on one of these.
You're damn right. Metzger. Wolf. Metzger. He has Dijkman. He goes to the scooper. That is a pretty throw into space. Very nicely done. Dijkman gets it to Gaffney.
No continuation. You break the zone, you don't stay ahead of it. They're just dumping a swing again. It's like they've barely achieved anything.
Yeah, you did the hard work and then you just let it all reset around you. Nice pop by Metzger. He has Dijkman. He tries to find him. It doesn't have quite enough float. And those shots to the end zone are difficult. Both teams seem to be struggling with them.
Yeah, the wind is pushing the disc down in that direction. Has to be very high, lots of spin. And a wasted opportunity from Wall City there.
So Heidees have a chance to get a break.
Crucial opportunity. They unfortunately can't punch it in though, as Wall City get themselves Callahan.
Mr. Callahan! Stupid technical difficulties. Okay, understandable. Things are really tense down in that end zone. And earlier on in the game, we saw loads of upwind points, one after the other, as we're going to have another look here at this Callahan.
Oh, it wasn't Callahan. There was a bump pass. There was a few obstacles in my line of sight. It happened so quickly.
Understandable.
It was as close to a Callahan as you can get, though.
Metzger jumping the lane and popping into Vladislav Basov. We've seen a few of those. people. We saw Dipple get one where they kind of read where the disc is going to be coming from. They jump up the line. But it's a difficult equation to get right, because you see a lot of times people arrive too late and they can commit some pretty bad fouls, or people have to pull out and then they just expose the entire backfield.
But Wall City's O-line are extremely resilient once they get the turnover. They're not heads down, being upset at the fact they've turned over. They go for it on defense. So bricked pull.
So 10-9 to Wall City as Lynn gets the disc. Walks forward. Wall City content to stick with this match, but we've seen switching from them before against the 2-5. It seems like they're trying to set up to switch here against the 3-4. And right now, Gerardo's just making a nuisance of himself down there, trying to mess up the deep switch. I really like that movement. Lind with the disc. Liestroy goes down the line, doesn't want it, gets it to Gerardo in the middle of the pitch. Gerardo faking, none of it's really coming around. Has to go back to Liestroy, now it's on the far sideline. Liestroy completely free in the middle of the pitch. Doesn't want that quick pop, has Sontag, gets it to him just about. Sontag's so crucial to the offense in this Heidees side. Tempted to go for the difficult flick break, goes for the even more difficult flick break if you ask me. Meyer Bottling down the line, that one's taken in well. No uprushing handler immediately, forced to go a little bit back. Now Sontag gets it, this is good work by the Heidees. They want to tie this game up. There's the big arcing throw all the way around. Gerardo spins it around his hands and can't quite corral it.
Not sure what this discussion is. The throw looked so good coming out the hands, but
didn't look so good going into them.
No, it was a tricky catch.
It was pretty snazzy. Like, he must have hooked it with a finger, because the way it just like spun around as if he was doing a trick, and then maybe one of those old school grabs. You ever see those people who used to like go up really high and they grab it and then they twist it as they came down? It always just looked like they were showboating.
Out of place freestyle players, perhaps.
Bit of conversation between these Germans.
So if I was going to guess, which, I mean, I might as well at this point, as to what this conversation is. It looked like there was a bit of contact after the catch, which may have caused the drop. But looks like turnover will stand.
Well, Germany is the land of poets and thinkers, so you can understand they take their time deliberating that decision. Kronecker, disc in hand. He's looking. Kay is trying to get free from, eventually does. We've seen him huck a few so far today, but sides against on this occasion. Instead, it winds up in the form of Matsushek. And Kronecker has no such reservations. He launches one all the way down there. Huge bid by Herkens, but I think trying to make up for the misread. He can't quite do it. Sontag. We rarely see teams making up into this half of the pitch now. A lot of the second half has been played on the left-hand side. Sontag beautifully waiting that one to Meyer Bottling, and he collects on the other side for yet another score for the big man.
Nicely done. Good focus to secure that catch. The disc dropped ever so slightly just as it reached the hands. That's good offense from Heidees. You notice after this catch, immediately looks in field, finds an option, again, immediately looks in field. And then the thrower, as they catch the disc, already looking downfield, can already see the options available in the end zone. And it's a lot easier to hit those from that power position.
Sontag's taken that shot on a lot today. I think with that score, he goes to either 50% or 40% completions on them. But I think a lot of the times, even when like a certain backhand has been available to them, he isn't taking it because of that wind and what you're talking about with the air pushing it out from underneath. So they tie it up at 10s. You surprised by kind of the low scoring in this game? 75 minutes, 15 minutes left, and we're only 2/3 of the way through the score.
There's been a few grindy points. There's been a lot of timeouts as well.
Has been a lot of timeouts.
It's not been just a clean offensive showing. So it turns out the discussion from that previous point was about one of the Wall City players went to pick the disc up and then kind of stopped.
Hey, look, because the pull's going in the other direction, Wolf actually gets it. Gaffney has Greenwald, sees him, hits him. Kitchen was prowling. Greenwald thinks about the deep shot, decides against it. Metzger cuts up the line for him. That's put out just in front of him. He's in power position. Decides against it, goes for the under. That was really nicely set up and worked. This is good stuff by Wall City. And there's the miscommunication. And it could be a fatal one. They've given up the disc in a dangerous position. Kitchen wastes no time picking it up, and they're going to go to work. Can Heidees punch this in? This is the best opportunity they've had. And they almost ruin it. Amazing defense by Vladislav Bazov. Did he get there in time?
Yeah, a lot of contact on the arm, on the catch.
We're going to have another look at it here. You see Bazov recognizes the play. Oh, that's a tough one. I can understand why that's called as a foul. I can understand why you'd be annoyed by it.
Is the resolution, which I think is...
Uncontested foul, very fair-minded.
Yeah.
Bazov, of course, the spirited and athletic player. Luke agrees with him. So Heidees retain possession just about. And they get another go. That's Brenner. Man who's played with Pony for a few times. Of course, famous Wall City player also playing with Pony. Right now, Brenner here is at the European Championships, though. There, when just about gets around Diekman, bidding and almost getting a touch on the disc. That's Berneke. Berneke looking for options, eventually finds him in the form of Lush. Lush goes for the pop-in, and it's a crucial score for Kitchen!
They get the break at a crucial time. This game is drawing to a close, and Heidees, just when they needed it, they punch in that break. So we see the score once again. Nice inside break.
Berneke to Lush, Lush to Kitchen, close quarters, cutting, and Heidees take the lead.
Beautiful cut from Kitchen. Just sells multiple defenders on that front corner, takes 2 steps back, and is wide open. Wall City, again, just overcommitting defenders to that front cone. You really only need one player there. And then the players who they have there at the moment should be guarding that middle space. They've been scored on a few occasions down the middle when they have too many defenders guarding that front cone.
That's why you've always got to attack the front cone and then move back out of it. Yeah. A 7 cut again, and it's worked multiple times because people naturally, when it's this intense, upwind as well, so they're expecting a short pass. They're expecting you to try and hit the front corner. You're going to suck in a lot of players. The human brain just can't communicate quick enough when there's that much pressure going on for you to be like, I'll take this one, you stay here, unless it's something that you're already trying to do. Yeah. So it's great awareness by Heidees. You've got to say they've been the stronger team in this second half. Went down 8-6 at half. They've gotten 3 breaks.
We're back to the roly pulls.
So just going to give you an update from one of the other quarterfinals that's going on right now in the Open Division. And that is Ranelagh against Mooncatchers. That's the team who came fourth at Euros last year, taking on the team who came fourth at Worlds this year. Ranelagh 13-11 up. Huge ripper of a pull. Greenwald's underneath it. Reads it quite well, and he's frustrated with himself. He knows that was a drop. There was a little bit of contact, but he had position. He should have had the disc. He couldn't get there. Lush now has it. Lush plays it down the middle. Nistroy hits Stewart. Stewart's on the near side. Stewart looking. Nothing really becoming immediately available. He goes for that pass just about over and around. That's Malberg. And you got to trust him with a disc in hand, and he gets the right edge on it. Lots of people underneath it. One man comes down. Bella Lush.
What a grab. Comes from behind the defender, runs straight through the gap, goes up. Big right hand, rips it out the sky. So you see the previous throw from Wall City. The throw was almost good enough, just needs to be a little bit far out in front.
And here is the return shot. And this is what we love about Ultimate. Great tracking, immaculate grab, fantastic stuff. And that's Bella Lush getting up big.
Confidence.
So Linus Lush is the one who gets the assist for the first crucial break to take their first lead. Bella Lush gets the massive grab. Hopefully there's some very proud people back at home cheering them on. And understandably so, I believe it's Wall City have called a timeout. So go get a cup of tea. Go get whatever it is you need for refreshments. We're going to go catch our breath. We will be back after these short messages. Anyway, we are back in action. Heidees storming out courtesy of 2 breaks. One upwind, one downwind. Both of them courtesy of Lucius. Both of them rather spectacular in their own regard. Quick fire, quick breaks on the inside, and then a massive shot and a bigger grab by a large man. So, Heidelberg, Eppelheim suburb, specifically Heidees, currently 2 points up on the reigning German champions and fighting for a place in a semi-final here at Euros.
Yeah, Wall City have looked impressive this season.
Very impressive.
Early season win over Clapham in
London Invite?
Bologna
Invite.
They lost. Clapham got revenge at London Invite.
That was it.
And obviously went on to do extremely well at Worlds. They're also on track for title here, having won their quarterfinal earlier. But
so Gaffney to Metzger, Metzger across to Wolf, Wolf. Metzger in the middle. Gaffney. Metzger and back across to Wolf. Oh, that's a dainty little pass over the top to Greenwald. Nicely done, Dijkman. Gets it down there, decides against the huck, wants to get the pop back. There wasn't enough rushing handler as quick as possible. Metzger sitting there, that linchpin, it's where he's been all game long, all tournament long. Greenwald wants to make amends for that drop going upwind. He had a few points to go. Wolf to Gaffney. Gaffney, the man who designed these jerseys, wears them with pride. That is not an easy break for him to get off. He gets it across to the opposite sideline. Metzger, that was a little bit risky, but it worked out. Lots of float on it for it. Underneath it is Basov, but also there to get the block is Tim Stulert. And Heidees are soaring right now.
Absolutely huge block. Love the decision by Heidees to play zone this point. Wall City just been broken twice. They're in their own heads. They had a miscom error. They had a missed throw error. Heidees been making some huge plays. You expect them to come down with fiery one-to-one. They switch things up. They go with the zone. Wall City work it almost the entire length, but as we see so often, the defender does not need to slow down and catch in bounds. They can just attack, hit the disc, land out of bounds, no problem.
Klein looks to get it in. That's a great grab, Stulert. He wants to get this team into a semi-final. He's going to do everything in his considerable powers to pull it off. And unfortunately, that one's just a little bit further away from Dipple than they would have liked. Eichler. Wolf. Wolf looking for Metzger, finds Metzger. Has Greenwald for a second, doesn't want him. Instead goes back to Wolf, that floats over the top, 2 people in the way! Big time block, Linus Lush, he's emerged in the latter stages of this game as well. Every Heidees is just trying to play out of their skin right now. Lush looks to go back into the middle, he does. He finds the form of Brenner, Brenner sends it across. And there's that big man who got the D. Stulert goes for a quick, easy break inside to Brenner. Brenner sends it down, lots of pressure, but not quite enough. And there's the shot to the end zone for another big, oh no! Not able to get it in the end, no, and in that area once more, Leo Eichler. I think there's an injury call.
Yeah, injury call from Wall City.
Is that Eichler going off?
Yep. Tense moments.
So Philip Kay coming on for him. I mean, those are 2 of probably the most impressive cutters I personally think I've seen for Wall City in this game.
For sure, for sure.
So it's not a bad substitution.
It was an interesting moment during that last possession where Heidees had flown nicely down the pitch and then they just get a bit stuck. They set up that vert stack and nothing really comes from it. And ultimately, Wall City clamp down and get the block in the end zone.
So Wolf, Metzger, yeah, they're shading under, which is slightly surprising, especially if you're shading under Basov.
Lots of deep throws.
Greenwald, Dykman, that's a good point. Dykman back to Greenwald, Greenwald. That's a brilliant under, really well worked. And a nice shot coming out of the hands. He just came on for the injury, and what a defensive play! Oh my goodness! Heidees have got rocket boots on in this second half. They are soaring all over the pitch. Brenner gets to Dipple in the middle. And that one just about making it across. This is incredible stuff from the Heidees side.
No respect for gravity whatsoever.
Oh, what a block! You want to talk about disrespect? Philip Kai doesn't even look at the disc or the man. Gets the D and heads for the end zone.
It's one of the filthiest blocks I've ever seen.
So casual. It's like closing the door behind you as you leave a room. Metzger arcs one up there. Greenwald has completely free in the end zone, Dykman. Yep, no pick called. Just a great cut.
Just ran to the break side.
Worked.
And the thrower put the disc there. I mean, there's not much more to say about it. Just well-timed movement. Defense wasn't quite switched onto it, and despite multiple outrageous defensive efforts from Heidees, Wall City punch in their 0 point. That was a hold.
That was a hold.
That was a hold.
Goodness gracious me. I think that was Kay. He was searching. Brenner had other ideas.
That disc was so high in the air.
Oh, sorry, that's Brenner with the disc. Misattributing the block.
This block.
Whoa, okay. Okay. Okay, we see you.
The disrespect.
The Metzger picks it up, arcs a nice one around. Greenwald's going to get it, and then, yeah, Dykman just super free.
The break throw from Metzger was so good.
Setting them up in that
Broke Heidees' defense wide open.
So you've actually spoken about this quite a lot in this game. You're quite impressed with the defensive prowess of Wall City's O-line.
Yeah, they seem extremely switched on defense. More so than we've seen from other O-lines at this tournament in this division. Every time Heidees get the disc off of them, they are hungry to get it back. No messing about. They seem like a well-drilled defensive unit. More than just some of the O-lines we see at this tournament who are extremely good on offense, but then on defense it's less well-drilled, it seems. They're playing defense. They're great athletes. Great defenders, but it feels like the Wall City O-line are dialed in on defense.
Well, they'll need to be, the Wall City D-line needs to be dialed in now. Lind, middle of the pitch, sends it down. Heidees are attracting a crowd as this game goes on. How will they react to the pressure? So many people all around them. That's sheer. He eventually gets the dump off to Nistroy. Nistroy has Girotto in front of him and Santak. That's a crowded space around him.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Clapham players next to us. They're on the other side of the bracket.
And they're very tall, and we'd appreciate it if they sat down more. Nistroy. That's a nice little break inside to Girotto. Girotto's looking around for options. Not a whole lot of them coming immediately available. Lind takes the big shot, arcing, well positioned. Too many people underneath it. Diekman was coming in for the block, and you can see Wall City starting to load up these lines.
Yeah.
Some of their big, imposing players. Wolf is out there. He's played a lot of this game. So is Diekman. Kay as well. And if you can, Eichler, get Kay out there. Obviously, you want to send our best wishes to Eichler if he's still on the sideline getting seen to. All right, so Wolf is actually going to start this one from the front of his own end zone. Traditionally Metzger's position. And the wind picks up just in time. What a throw. Really well done. That's Venderholm. Venderholm back across to K. K doesn't take the immediately open Rickards. Takes him on the second ask. And that was always dropping for Venderholm. Lind decides against it. They're just going to walk over. Is he going to let Sheer pick it up? Nope, Sontag. So Sheer's in the dump position and he's completely unmarked. Sontag sees him and hits him straight away. They're playing it down. Lind, such an important offensive weapon for this Heidees side. Not through the middle! The defense parted. It might be 1989 because that wall fell down.
Nice. Yeah, it's the same problem we've seen from Wall City all game, really, just allowing players to get free in the middle of the end zone. They are far too concerned with the sides. They're far too concerned with getting beat to that front corner. And they're not just playing tight on the players in the middle.
What I find peculiar is that they leave Sheer completely free, which definitely seemed like something they were doing on purpose.
In the reset space, yeah.
Yeah, in the reset space. So that they could have more pressure downfield and then just straight through the middle. That was a great throw. Really great awareness. But yeah, you'd think somebody would have stepped in.
They had the defensive resources available.
So that's Sontag just picking it up straight away.
Nice throw.
There's Lind, quick pop across. Sheer sees the gap, shoots it.
There you can see Wall City players on the left and the right of the screen. They're completely ready for cuts to the open side, cuts to the break side, but no one's at the front, in the middle.
Heidees have taken advantage of it multiple times.
Yeah, they're sandwiching left and right, but they're not surrounding the 360 degrees that are available to score in.
So how do you make that adjustment without then giving up the sides?
Well, you take players who are on the break side, and you take one player on the break side and put them on the open side. The break side, you're expecting floatier throws there, so you can have fewer defensive resources committed to it.
Gaffney gets it across to Wolf. There are an awful lot of people watching, an awful lot of them screaming. We hope you're screaming at home. I'm certainly screaming here in the booth. I think Luke's probably the calmest person within a mile radius. Gaffney, that's a risky pass. It's a bit of a gaff. And now Heidees with another short field opportunity. They got their crucial break out of this situation. Can they get a second one? Interesting to see who's going to go pick it up. I think that's Brenner. Yep, that's going to be Brenner picking up right at the front corner. He's marked by Greenwald. A quick move downfield, doesn't like it. That's a nice little break across. Lush spreads it around, and this is just Heidees taking their time. They recognize the opportunity they have. Nistelrooy tries to get it down the line, does so. So they're still holding on to it for a bit too long. No, they get the score in the end.
And that's 3 Wall City defenders there. And they punched in the front corner anyway. Just complete disregard for the defense. And Heidees, yet another break.
Heidees are certainly celebrating as if they've won. I don't want to have to break the news to him. Time went during that point, I think, which would mean that it's a game to fit. We're going to have to work that out. I think Wall City have also accepted it. I'm pretty sure it was just in time, so huge congratulations to Heidees. Absolutely incredible performance. So Meyer Butling, who's been so impressive for them all game long. I mean, so many of them have. Nistelrooy has also been fantastic. And how many times did they just work it through those little gaps right in the middle or on the sideline, just punching into those small holes?
Yeah, incredible work from Heidees. Well-deserved victory. They absolutely stepped up in this final quarter of the game.
The second half was theirs. They came in 8-6 down. They've run out 14-11 winners. I'm just going to do some quick maths. I believe that's an 8-3 victory in the second half. Heidees go on to the semi-final. We're not quite sure who they'll be playing yet, as Moon we're taking on Ranelagh in another game. We'll have all that information for you as soon as possible, along with the final round of the mixed pool division. I've been Lorcan Murray. I've been joined by
Luke Burgess.
Thank you so much. We've got 4 more games and plenty more reasons for you to keep it here for free at ULTI.TV on YouTube. We will see you at the next match.
Merci. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 000. 5 000 0
ULTI.TV.